Grade 12 students, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It's me again, Mr. Asim Habas, in the second video in a series out of 4, under the title Helicopter Parenting Hysteria. Is it as widespread as we think? At the end of this video, you will be able to identify a crucial issue, helicopter parenting, and answer referential and inferential questions. To have full benefit by this tutorial, you need to write down notes in the comprehension notebook that you used in the first video. And don't forget to pause the video when I ask you, or anytime you want, in order to have a chance to read, think, and answer some questions that I'm going to raise every now and then, or before you start reading specific paragraphs. Looking at this picture, what's the first term that pops up into your mind? Let's see. Mom, dad, kids, parents, family, protection. Great. This is what I'm after. If we put these words together, they lead us to the term parenting. Pause the video for 15 seconds and try to define parenting orally. Time is up. Parenting is the raising of children and all the responsibilities and activities that are involved in it. We learned in the previous video, launching the theme, that parents have many roles. One of them is supporting their kids while doing school assignments. Pause the video again for 1 minute, have a look at these pictures, and on your notebook write, how are they similar? How do they differ? What would be the results of such a treatment on these kids in the near future? 1 minute is on. Okay? Both fathers are keeping an eye on their kids while studying, but there is a gloomy, sad atmosphere in the first one, opposite to that cozy, friendly one in the second. The father in the picture on the left seems to be actually doing the children's work by keeping an eye on each word written and consequently depriving them of depending on themselves. Look at the girl's face. She's not happy at all. While in the picture on the right, he seems to be watching and supporting the child in a loving way. This leads us to the key word in this lesson, helicopter parenting. As you can see in the picture, parents are closely observing their kids' actions and behaviors in a way that makes them over-controlling and over-protective. So helicopter parenting describes parents who are overly involved in their children's lives from childhood up until young adulthood. Great, I can see you copying down the definition. Good job. Our lesson's title is Helicopter Parenting Hysteria, Is it as widespread as we think? Helicopter parents are often accused of being too controlling and intrusive. In general, this term is regarded in a very negative way. In this article, the author questions whether helicopter parenting is really as widespread and damaging to children and adults as people believe it to be. Okay, it's time to read and sharpen your comprehension ability. Read paragraphs 1 and 2 on page 5 and keep these questions in mind. How do parents act? What do data reveal about parents intervening on child's behalf? Yep, you're right. You have to pause the video, resume watching once you read them carefully, and use context clues or dictionary to figure out meaning of challenging vocabulary. Other than those, I'm going to include at the bottom of the screen every now and then. I'm quite sure that you noticed how the author wants to prove that HP or helicopter parenting is not damaging as we believe. So he opened the article by revealing how parents' over-involvement in their college kids' life is scorned and criticized. Take your time, don't rush, read, and think about the questions. Okay, now you're done. So the answer for question 1 will be parents phone college teens and ask about their kids' love life. Moving to question 2, Tracking data down revealed that parents are in touch with their college-age kids. Communication differs from intervention, and intervention is rare. Also, it was noticed that just 13% of college freshmen and 8% of seniors said that parents frequently intervene to help them solve problems. Okay, guys, back to the book. Page 5 again. Read paragraphs 3 and 4 and orally say how do paragraphs 3 and 4 elaborate on the data mentioned in paragraph 2. Done? Great. Let me remind you that paragraphs 2 shows how studies prove that parents do communicate with their college-age kids, but they rarely intervene. In paragraphs 3 and 4, the writer sheds light on the same idea by assuring that more studies and research reveal that the image of parents as nuisances doesn't match the reality. Majority of college students admit that their parents weren't involved in their choice of courses or their major. 77% of employers claim that they hardly witnessed a parent while hiring a college senior. Again and again, the writer is trying to say for us that helicopter parenting is not as damaging as we have been led to believe. Let's move to the last two paragraphs in today's video, paragraphs 5 and 6, pages 5 and 6 as well. You know what you have to do, right? Read carefully and try to answer these questions before I give you my own answers and explanations. Question 1. What are the effects of helicopter parenting? How are these findings described? These effects. According to paragraph 6, who finds helicopter parenting annoying and why? Why do kids need their parents' guidance during maturity? Okay, here we go. Helicopter parenting proved to be positive and when experienced in any home, as it leads to a higher level of academic engagement. It shows better results at writing and critical thinking. It ensures better communicative skills with peers and faculty. Faculty means people in charge of a college or university. And finally, HP results in better well-being for young adults. How are these findings described? They are described, or these experimental or empirical findings were described as impressive and surprising. So all researchers were surprised, they were impressed that helicopter parenting has positive effects. Number 3. According to paragraph 6, who finds HP or helicopter parenting annoying and why? It's kids and young people who find HP disturbing because they want to enjoy more privacy and feel more independent. Last question. Why do kids need their parents' guidance during maturity? Kids usually need their parents even when getting adult because being mature doesn't mean being self-sufficient, and parent-child relationship should continue past childhood. So it is clear now that continuous and frequent parenting and support definitely leads to more happiness. This support could be highly necessary as the trip of employment starts after graduation. Thus, most probably, just kids are misjudging their parents' care and interference. Now it is time to check your understanding of the covered part in our lesson and how much you're able to use paraphrasing while dealing with comprehension questions. The first exercise is page 8 in the reading book, Statement Evaluation, where you have to tell whether the items 1 through 7 are true, false, or not mentioned. If the sentence is false, you have to correct it. The second exercise is thinking about the selection and dealing with comprehension questions.